No, Dr. Pandit, we've had on this show scientists before.
Okay, before we start, I do have to say something, and I'm not happy about it, but it just cannot be helped. You see, this is the guy being spoken about right now on a talk show about to share some very much all caps opinions about reality, and the fact that he is called Dr. Pandit, it frankly is hilarious to me. I get that it's probably just a family name from wherever he comes from, but you cannot tell me that in this situation it is not completely, perfectly ironic.
We've had individuals that have promoted the literal account of the book of Genesis.
So you're saying you've had scientists and you've had idiots. I think that's what morons call being fair and balanced. And it's kind of a shockingly old thing. I mean, the amount of times I have seen in a news show where they will have an expert in some medical field appropriate to the topic at hand, and then hippie Jim, who thinks that he can heal people with his own snot and wears underwear sewn from his own hair. And for some fucking reason, we are expected to take these two just as seriously as each other. That's just fucking wild. No, a balanced debate would be two scientists with relevant degrees but differing opinions on a particular subject. But no one would watch that because it would be really boring. I wonder why they do it.
And we've had people when we've aired these shows who've posted, like say on social media, that evolution is a fact, undeniable fact.
I mean, frankly, everything can be deniable if you are ignorant or just plain delusional enough. But yeah, it is a fact. It's just a thing that we know happens, mostly because of all the evidence of it happening all the time. Anyone who thinks it isn't is, again, not very knowledgeable or out of their mind or is pretending that's the case because they want to sell you something. And sometimes all three.
What would you say to someone like that?
Well, considering the title of this video, I am going to guess something really stupid because, yeah, any apologist who thinks he can logic evolution into not being true probably isn't being all that logical and knows sweet f*** all about things that are true.
Well, I've met some of them when I was at the University of Arkansas. There were 5 atheistic biology professors who came and occupied the first row.
Why the hell would it matter if they're atheists or atheistic if there's some kind of difference in your mind? You know that there are, in fact, biology professors that exist and, understand and accept that evolution is a real thing that happens, whilst also being people who fully believe in whatever God, including Bible God. So yeah, just say biologists. If they know what they're talking about, I promise you they will generally think a lot of the same things when it comes to the science.
When you were doing a presentation?
When I was doing my presentations, and they told me.
I do have to point out that these subtitles are amazing, because man, if you were hard of hearing, you could be rather confused why this man was doing the president, presumably on a stage at a university. I mean, I'm not saying that I wouldn't go see that show, it's just weird that it's even on.
Evolution is a fact.
Okay, there it is. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone. Wait a minute. I've been tricked like this before. Yeah. There's still more video, isn't there? He's going to say something else. And it's going to be really stupid. And then I'm going to be like, oh, you tricked me again. Well, not this time, buddy. I'm on to you.
So I said, all right, that's your theory.
It's not a fucking theory. Something being a fact is not a theory. A theory, in science at least, is an explanation of a fact. The theory of evolution is a theorem, but it explains the fact that evolution is a thing and how it works and what it produces and all sorts of other cool shit. And we can use that theory to make predictions and do sciencey stuff, and all those actually, work. And they work because evolution is a fucking fact. It's the same kind of stupid thing like saying that germs are just a theory. Well, you go and lick every rotting carcass you can find and we will see what happens. I mean, it's win-win. You'll either be shown you're the kind of dumbass who licks rotting corpses, or, you'll be gone.
Will you allow another theory at all? Or are you going to stick right there?
Will you allow another theory? Wow, what a completely ridiculous thing to say. There are no other theories when it comes to things that are demonstrable facts. Again, they are just facts. But the other problem is that having multiple theories only works in things that we don't understand. Except when we don't understand something well yet, we don't actually call it a theory. Scientific theories are just about the most robust portion of science there is. Another theory would have to be an explanation equally robust to the point where the thing it's talking about is simply a fact. And that only happens when the new thing superannuates the original. Like how Newton's theory of gravity was effectively replaced by general relativity. But the thing is, Newton's theory still describes the same thing. General relativity just explains it better and with more detail. If you have a theory that would replace the theory of evolution, it would more than likely still have to account for the fact that evolution is a fact. It would just explain it better. And if I were a betting boy, your pseudo theory isn't going to even attempt to do that.
They said, we don't mind looking at another theory.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean if you say something stupid that they can refute, they are going to automatically believe it. I recall a science communicator once saying that the beauty of science is that everything in it can be proven wrong. A discovery could be made tomorrow that could refute literally everything we know about reality and demonstrate that none of it is true, and that in fact this other group of ideas are actually how reality works. I just wouldn't fucking count on it. I'm pretty sure he said the fuck part as well. It was a kid's show after all.
So I said, all right, let's look at your theory. Let's take the book, Origin of Species, which you're supposed to base all your statements on.
What the fuck are you talking about? Are you kidding me? That's not remotely how that works. That's a book that's well over 150 years old. No one is basing pretty much anything in modern science purely on the context of a really old book, let alone everything. For one, Darwin wasn't the only person considering evolution at the time, and for two, essentially everything in that book will have been superseded by far more up-to-date and in-depth explanations and ideas, not to mention all the stuff that Darwin just wouldn't have been able to learn about at the time, being missing, that is now filled with, science. And for some reason, none of these atheistic biologists thought to bring that up. Oh, wait a minute, are you doing that thing that all creationists do again, where they constantly fucking lie? Because damn it, when your truth is important, why not just make up everything about it? It's not like facts matter when it comes to fucking reality, is it?
And let's ask ourselves some questions on the theory itself.
Go ahead, I am fully convinced they won't be completely fucking stupid, and that your definitely real science guys will be flabbergasted and unable to answer. And yet me, a complete fucking dumbass, will be able to answer them super duper easily.
And if you realize when you look at the book, how Charles Darwin has stated it out, he destroys his own theory in his book.
And yet nobody but you has noticed this. Nah, never. It's not like creative boys are constantly dragging it out and saying, Darwin said this thing, only for it to be yet another goddamn quote mine. And again, who cares? He could have written on the last page, lol, it was just a social experiment and you fell for it, you stupid assholes. Ha ha ha. And he used a white font so you couldn't see it on his fucking word processor that he got from the future apparently. Because that wouldn't be important to the story. It wouldn't change the fact that his ideas were largely on point, and that the theory that we have developed that describes the same or similar ideas will somehow be magically wrong by default.
Very few people have actually read the book. Do you know that?
Yeah, because they don't fucking need to. I know morons think that Darwin is some kind of prophet and that On Origin of Species is some kind of religious text, but it's simply not. It was a revolutionary treatise from the time, but you would be hard pressed to find a science class that would need to read that book. Because again, it's completely outmoded. It is not what the theory of evolution says anymore. And the only people who think it is are people who don't know dick all about science, aka creationists.
Both in the Christian and the believing world, and those who are in the evolutionary world.
Those are not necessarily different things. Are you fucking kidding me? How can you not know that not all Christians think evolution and big wrong. Many are perfectly capable of accepting science and squaring it with their faith, mostly by being smart enough to realize that the Bible is a book written by ancient people to explain the world as they understood it and not a factual description of reality. Of course, what's the betting that this dipshit thinks that they aren't real Christians? Real Christians will believe anything, no matter how stupid it is really not the slam dunk that you think it is.
99.5% of them have never read the book.
You know, it's like saying that 99% of people who have ever eaten food haven't actually read a cookbook. That wouldn't mean that food isn't delicious and that it doesn't give you sustenance. It just means that there are people who have, and they understand how to make food properly. And when they tell you to bake a pie and you say, oh, no, why would I need all these ingredients for that? I'm going to bake this pie out of thoughts and fucking prayers. Don't be surprised if they assume you have no idea what you're talking about and are possibly just a little bit mad.
That is one of the reasons I really felt I need to read that book. And by the way, you can't just read the book once and you understand it all. I had to read it 5 times.
Wow, he's really going out of his way to try and present himself as an expert on that book. And presuming he's not doing that lying thing again, and he now fully understands the things written in it and what they mean to the best of his abilities, which we will assume for this point that those abilities aren't basically nil, although I'm sure that's far more credit than he deserves. He's an expert on a book that is all but irrelevant to our current understanding of the science that explains where the diversity of life on this planet came from. So fucking what?
Cover to cover. Then I realized, now I got what Darwin is saying.
Wait, that's why you read it 5 times? To just understand its basic premise? Shit, dude, do you maybe think that you had to read it 5 times to get the gist of it? That perhaps you are not all that smart? I mean, it is just one of many, many, many clues, obviously.
And then when you look at that, then I started underlining here and a point over there in the book. And when went back and forth, I realized he has broken down his own theory in his book.
Or perhaps those 5 reads weren't enough. I mean, forgetting the fact that, again, even if everything that Darwin said was complete gibberish, if he had no idea what he was saying, hell, if it was just 1,000 pages of him writing evolution and real cosmismart over and over again, it will never change the fact that evolution is a fact. But I seriously doubt you have done anything other than mischaracterize what he said by using quote mines and lies and any other shady tactic, because that's just what you guys always do.
Any other questions?
Okay, there's a cut there, and I did not make it. Thankfully, whatever was skipped seems to be for some sort of expediency rather than just ignoring him explaining how Darwin was big wrong, because that would be really embarrassing. Although, to be fair, even if they did do that, it wouldn't change the fact that, say it with me now, evolution is still a fucking fact, you gigantic cretinous melt. And if you did manage to say it with me, well done, you watch far too much Sir Sick. Good job.
Right over there.
How did Darwin contradict himself?
Here's one of the ways he contradicted himself. One, he started his book with the first chapter.
Of course, starting your book with the first chapter. Everybody knows they're supposed to be in a completely random order. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how he reads the fucking thing.
Which is variations under domestication. That means in the breeding experiments, all right? Then he took all those principles. By the way, there was nothing in nature, that's why he went there. He went to the breeding principles and looked at all the breeding principles and simply took the whole amount and put it into nature. And he said, now, nature is how it happened. This is how it happened, and that's the theory of evolution.
No, that's not what he did. He didn't just transfer those ideas directly. He compared and contrasted them to demonstrate one example where we can directly observe what's happening in short order to the process that would be happening in nature. That's not a contradiction. That's just you missing the fucking point entirely. And the thing is, these principles will function at least similarly in various situations because, you know, they fucking work.
But here's the catch. In the question of breeding, he will tell you over and over again in his own book that the fundamental basic ingredient, if you want to call it that ingredient, in breeding is the breeder.
What are you talking about? This is simply the difference between artificial and natural selection. Shame you're too stupid to understand that. The breeder doesn't change the fact that evolution is still a thing that happens. Like if you drop an apple in a lab and one falls off a tree, gravity is still going to do the same thing. Or if you create alcohol in a distiller or eat a bunch of fermented fruit, you're still going to be drunk off your ass. The venue of the processes that happen doesn't change the fact that the processes happen, you complete half-wit.
You take him off, you have no breeding. So your whole breeding experiment crashes. When he took the whole principle to nature, he could not find a breeder, so he simply left it out.
That's just fucking gibberish. Animals breed in nature, of course they do. No one has to fucking breed them. They'll do it themselves. He didn't leave it out because he couldn't find some guy running around getting rabbits to fuck. They're gonna do it anyway. But the selection process will happen. You would have known that if you'd have read the book. Oh shit, read it 5 more times, I guess? Nah, the guy could have read it 1,000,000 times and never understood it, but that's only because he was already sure it was wrong. Unfortunately, the only thing he should have been sure was wrong was everything that he has ever fucking believed.
If you put a breeder there, you don't have your theory, because a breeder here is the agent called God.
God is a breeder. Wow, that's a thing you said for damn sure. But no, in this context, for this, the breeder is simply not necessary. It's a different situation. And if God was forcing particular animals to have sex, that wouldn't mean evolution wouldn't happen. I mean, hell, that's actually a way that could make some sense with the Bible. It could make it compatible to a certain extent with evolution. Evolution still happens, it's just guided by God. I mean, I still think that that's wishful nonsense, but it's something. He doesn't even know how hard he's failing to debunk anything. What a shock.
So he has destroyed it in that sense. In another sense, he has destroyed it here again.
No, he didn't in any sense of the word, and I'm pretty damn sure that whatever other sense you think he's destroyed it, it won't be half as destroyed as your fucking brain clearly has been. Because obviously by reading 5 times, what you meant was smash the thing as hard as you can into your fucking face. No, dumbass, that's not how books work. You have to eat them. Hey, that might not be true, but at least he gets something out of the fucking thing. God damn.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the